Scatterboo, like, boys don't want to tackle him. I think he bringing back that old school football where the out of bounds is right there and there's a human right there. He's like going for the human, you know what I'm saying? And guys aren't used to seeing a guy picking contact, you know, like if he didn't have to wear a helmet, I don't think he would.
Y'all had a back like that too. That wasn't Marshawn. Thomas Rawls. He used to search out contact. Oh my gosh. You know, running backs nowadays, they get a 15-yard carry. They just go out of bounds and celebrate, turn up. This man get 15 yards, look, see a DB, like, nah, I'm not running out of bounds. I'm trying to hit you. Turn back in just for contact. I'm running to the ball like, dang, bro, what is you on? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Third and Long. I'm Arik Armstead, and of course, you got my host, Michael Bennett, the originator of the Money Dance celebration. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I'm good, bro.
You can't be doing too good.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Definitely was a tough loss, a game that didn't go our way. But I'm doing good. Otherwise, my body's feeling good, healthy, which is the main thing that you want to be feeling after a game. And, I still feel like we're in a good spot, but definitely was a tough loss for us and definitely got some things to clean up. But overall, I'm feeling good. Family's doing good. They already headed over to Europe to meet me out there. And besides that, everyone's doing good. How you doing?
That's the crazy thing about the NFL, though, because it's like 1 week you are like super ecstatic because you just had this crazy major win and everything went your way. Like the wind blew properly, the water was out, the food that you ate was cooked, the steak was medium plus. It was like everything is perfect, and then like the next week is like shit don't never go your way. It's like I feel like in NFL you just gotta stay even keel. Like you can't like get too far ahead of yourself. You just have to stay in week by week because it's like if the big win creeps into the next week and then it kind of takes you down a little bit. And then if the big loss does the same thing and it starts to hang on to you, the fragments of the past loss continue to show up in the gameplay the following week. I feel like any team that has a big loss or loses the prior week, it's like you stick to the tactics, you stick to the culture, you stick to the game plan. You don't try to change things because, now somebody wants to have a players-only meeting. You're like, bro, we had one loss. There's no time for players-only meeting just yet. Not yet. If you're the Jets, yeah, time for a players-only meeting. But if you're the Jags, no, it's not time for a players-only meeting. It's still time to stick to the course.
Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, week prior, Monday Night Football, huge win, primetime game. And, good feeling around the building and, fans are happy. Everyone's happy. Life is good. Big win for us. But like you said, it's any given Sunday and you got to play the next week and you got to go out there. The thing people don't understand about football, I think all the time is that like you got to take it from a team each and every week. They're not just going to hand it over to you. Like we play a physical, violent game and we're all men of pride, men that want to win, and each and every Sunday, like you got to go out there and take it regardless of what your record is, regardless of what you did the week prior. And I think that's what makes the NFL what it is and what really, fans really enjoy about it is like it's a battle each and every week, regardless of who's playing. So, and anything can really happen out there. But, as far as the team, how we're feeling, I feel like we're in a great spot. Obviously,
you have
it was
authority to speak for the whole team.
I think so. I think I can.
I don't know if you possess that authority. So I was just making sure that you have that kind of,
I think so. I know.
For all Americans, in this sense, like.
I think I can speak for my guys when I can feel the chemistry, the confidence, the vibe that we have. going on in our building, and I feel like we're in a very good spot. 4-2, still right where we want to be. Got a huge game coming up before our bye, but I feel like we're in a good spot, and definitely got some things to clean up, and I think all teams do. Don't still feel like we're playing our best ball, but you want to be playing your best ball later in the season. But yeah, I feel like we're in a good spot still.
I feel like you're in a good spot. I'm not going to be a hater. I feel like you guys still have all the weapons. Even yesterday, I feel like you guys played really good football. I think offensively, the Seahawks defensive line was just on fire yesterday. The week before, they didn't play very well. So they were very motivated because against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's like Baker had his way. And this week it was like, nah, we gotta go crazy. So I feel like they were just highly motivated. I mean, they left the game with 7 sacks. 19 quarterback hits and pressures. That's a lot.
No, that is a lot. And we were on the sideline. It seemed like they were, they obviously had a great game. The stats showed that, but being out there on the field, you could, feel their presence as well too. And for us as a D line, anytime another D line is having a good game, you want to try to match that, and you know how important the defensive line is to winning and losing. And so they definitely were the better D line, I feel like, in this matchup. And a lot of times that's
Fortunately, the offense that they play is a little bit different from you guys. I feel like your offense is a little bit quicker pace, longer drop back steps. Theirs is like Kubiak special, long stretch plays, toss plays. So it's like, and then come back with play action. So it's a pass rusher is kind of hard to get into the game, really, because it's like they running and doing all these things, getting to the edge the whole time, and then they compact the inside to protect the quarterback. I mean, they hardly ever get in position on third downs where Sam Darnold has to throw the ball very deep, even though that plays a lot of play action, quick passes thrown down the field. So, I mean, that's really kind of how they get their bread and butter.
Yeah, no, we definitely felt that and knew that going into the game. They're a team who wants to avoid third and long, or they want to avoid third down as a whole. They want to run the football, play action, boot, keep you on your toes. And for the most part of the game, I felt like we did a good job of that. Stopping the run, keeping them contained. But the number one thing as a defense that you have to do in a game is you have to eliminate explosives. If teams are getting explosives, they're going to score. Like majority of scoring drives in the NFL, there's some type of explosive play, and they got a few, huge plays on us, which put them in scoring position, and it was too much kind of for us to overcome. But I think, when you're looking at the Seahawks and their offense, like you said, they do a great job of mixing in the run, mixing in the play action pass, which kind of keeps the defensive line on your toes, second guessing. You're hunkering down for the run, then it's play action pass. You're trying to create some pressure, but then they're running the football. So they do a great job of mixing it up, and they have a good team, and we knew that going into the game. I just feel we didn't execute down the stretch and make enough plays to win.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like you play against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it feels this year like Patrick Mahomes is doing more than he's ever did. I think he's been the MVP before, but this year I feel like he's definitely in that category for me, like seeing every week the amount of pressure that he's putting on his team. So I feel like the prior week, it's like, the game is in Patrick Mahomes' hands, so every play has to go through him, every run, every first down. He muscles his way to get it. And then it's like against the Seahawks, it's very much like let's keep Sam Darnold clean. Let's keep him. I mean, Sam Darnold is one of those guys. I feel like him and Mac Jones are two of the guys that's kind of like, they got wiped away, and everybody kind of was like, oh, no more. Sam Darnold sucks, you know what I'm saying? But then Sam Darnold gets to a good coach, and he gets better. And then it's like, I feel like that with Mac Jones. So I feel like Sam Darnold is he's the quarterback that is, with the right system, he's a very good player.
I think Sam Darnold has a lot of talent. He was a teammate of mine in San Fran, and we felt really comfortable with him if anything, had happened to Purdy. I think he came in, he may have played like one game during the regular season when we were teammates, and we felt really comfortable. So I think all he's done since then has really shown how good of a quarterback he is, his resiliency. Like, he's been 5 different organizations and found a way to be successful. So I definitely think that speaks to his talent and also his resiliency. And their offensive system, I think, is kind of perfect for him to. He's a very accurate thrower, can surprisingly use his legs as well too, and mixing in the run with his accurate down the field shots, is a great recipe for them for success. So I felt like they were a good team. I felt that we definitely did some things on our end that didn't really give us a chance to win, set ourselves back in a lot of drives, and then giving up explosive plays on defense. So, but hats off to them. They won the game. We didn't do enough to win, and I think they got a very good team over there as well. So, Mike, how'd you feel I played in this game? Give me your report card.
I'll give you a B+ this week. I think you're the only person with a sack this week. I can't give you an A because y'all lost. Only way I would give you an A in a loss is if you went stupid dumb, like three sacks, 3 TFLs, and I'd be like, you couldn't have done anything else. Like, you went Aaron Donald out there, and it was nothing else you could do. You hit the quarterback 7 times, and it was like nobody else came to work that day. But you had the only sack, you had TFLs, you made really good plays in the run game. You did a really good job at the 3 technique as far as like setting edges and being able to not get pushed off the ball. I thought that you continue to use your hands. I think in the pass rush game and the play action, I think it's about figuring out what stances that the guys have in play action and being able to determine how you could take your chances, because sometimes it's like they kind of running it over and over. So it's like, and to every D tackle and every defensive end in the NFL, the hardest sacks are on play action pass unless you're in and you happen to be in a 9 technique and you run up the field and you get a tight end or you get a running back trying to cut to you. But when you in the trenches, boy, that junk get hard, boy. When you out in that tackle, that guard and that tackle get on you and you just in there, it's like you got to predict it before it happens to be able to have a really good chance. And sometimes it's about recognizing how the tackle foot looks or the guard foot's look or what the center is doing. But being able to get the guard's hands off you a little quicker, I think that would help you improve in the pass rush game on play action, because you have no trouble when traditional pass happens. I think is when that's just hard for any D tackle, really, is kind of get out the play action pass and trying to get through there and get to the quarterback. But overall, like I said, I think it's a B+ game. I thought you did really good in the run game. You got the lone sack, you got a quarterback hit, you got a couple, and you got TFL. So overall, I think that you played a B+ game. But I don't know, how did you see it? You might have saw it different from me, but as a viewer who's been a D-line for pretty much all my life, I know what I saw.
Nah, I agree, bro. I feel like I made some plays, but like you said, when they were going play action, and finding ways to see that it's not run and turn my brain over. And I played a lot of football. Sometimes, you early in the game, you like, man, we got to stop the run. I got to hunker down. You're not even really thinking about like trying to be dynamic and you're just trying to settle into the game. And then as the game gets a flow, then you can start, okay, he's in like this in his stance. Like, let me try to take a shot right here, take advantage. So having a better feel for that, I definitely agree with you, will help my game improve a lot.
You know what I used to do?
What's up?
What I used to do is break the film down into every single play action pass and every formation. And all you got to do is really get to 2 formations to really understand exactly what the set is, how that happens, and then you could just predict it a little bit better, because you could just watch, an 11 personnel or 12 personnel, or an I formation when the fullback scoots to right outside of the guard, it's a run. But when he gets right in the middle behind him, it's a pass. So figuring out how to break it down in those segments and watching every single one and just kind of watching the guard to say, okay, on this play on the guard, his hands like this, because they predictable, it's routine. So it's like figuring out which plays and watching that play over and over and breaking down all the play action passes and being able to identify those ones that make the most sense for you to be able to take a chance and basically looking at how your position plays into that role of that defense. That's kind of how I used to do it when I played. But I don't know. I was a loser, but maybe not. I did win the Super Bowl. So.
No, I agree. And I definitely do that, can do a better job of that and settle in, to the defense a little more. And then that's going to allow me to, take better advantage of some of those opportunities of what I see out there and try to be a little bit more dynamic in those 50-50 downs. Because like you said, like when it's pass and you're going, I feel that I'm very successful, but when it could be pass or run, just figuring out how I can get a tail or a tendency to, take more shots and be a little bit more dynamic. I
But
feel
it's hard,
something.
though, because when you come from a defense like, say, the 49ers, when you come from the 49ers and, like, that defense, because I was in the same defense as you, so I know exactly how that defense kind of works. Like, you're in over a lot, you're in under a lot. So as a three technique, you're getting a lot more opportunities to get off the ball, and it's kind of like you're kind of the edge setter in that defense. And when you go to another team, like, in New England, it's very much like the three technique is kind of setting the point, but holding it, you got to hold the block. Versus like, getting off a block. It's two different things. It's like holding a block. I'm like, damn, y'all do this like this shit. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like getting off a block is a lot different because nobody's getting mad at you if you getting off the block and you in the backfield and you making the running back stop his feet or you just causing havoc. It's like, how much havoc can you disrupt? It's like that's pretty much what the whole kind of defense is. It's like, in that defense, the Pete Carroll defense is very much like disruption by interior guys. So it's like it's very different when you go different defenses to like, it always takes like a little time to always. I know you've been there for a while, but it's always different, especially when you get a new coach and they have something very different now. It's like last year, get off the ball, and then this year it's kind of like finding out how do I still get off the ball? How do I still be the guy that I've always was? But how do I also pay homage to what the coach wants to do and make sure that I'm doing exactly my job, but also not becoming a robot? That's always a difficult conversation to even have as a player sometimes. It's like, the defense could make or break you sometimes depending on how your psyche is.
No, that's for sure, bro. I think, you've been through that situation before, going to new teams, having to learn new defenses and, different play styles. And it's always a little bit of a transition trying to find that perfect sweet spot where, you're doing some things that you're used to do or playing some techniques that you used to do, but in a new scheme. So, that does take a little bit of time for sure.
Jim Schwartz is the best, though. Jim Schwartz, if you're on a defensive line for Jim Schwartz, it's just like, yo, they got to make y'all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all get off the ball and everybody else got to, they'll figure it out. Be in your gap, but like, people, Rob Marinelli, like those guys, like, traditional Tampa, like those defenses, like you getting off the rock, and not like I didn't like as a defensive lineman. I never really got a chance to be in a 9 technique, like really being a 9 technique. I was always interior like you, and I'm way smaller than you, so it's like I was always in a 6, so I was always in a
you would have been hell in a 9. I'm telling you,
a 9 technique, boy. I'd have been breaking tight ends necks. You know what I'm saying? Like
you'd have been
like,
hell. You would have been hell, bro.
9 technique, those defenses are like, that's why you look at a team like the Browns, like even though they losing, the defensive line still putting up crazy stats. It's because it's like, that's just how they get the ball.
Yeah, that's how they're going. So for fans out there listening, like what are these techniques they're talking about? So a 3 technique, you're playing on the shoulder pad of the offensive guard. So it's more interior line. A 9 technique, you're playing on the shoulder pad of the tight end. So you're the edge of the defense, way outside. And that's how the techniques work. So the techniques start from the center position. If you're head up on the center, you're in a 0. If you're on either shoulder of the center, you're a 1 technique. Then you go to the guards. If you're on the shoulder of the guard, it's a 2. If you're on the inside shoulder, it's a 2. If you're on the outside shoulder, it's a 3. Then you go to the tackle. If you're on the inside shoulder of the tackle, that's a 4. Outside shoulder of the tackle, that's a 5. And it just continues to move out wider and wider. And that's how the techniques and shades start for a defensive line. That's like our foundation of how we align and the different formations we play.
A really cool moment last week, Wesley, Josh Hines, Allen's son, is in remission from leukemia, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was a team captain. I thought that was a really cool moment to see, like, as a father, seeing a player and his son together and experiencing something that a lot of people in America experience, an opportunity to see his son be a captain. How did that make you feel? I know that was really a heartwarming moment for me to see that.
Yeah, it was really cool to see Wesley be out there on the field with his dad, and just knowing everything that their family had went through this last year and are still going through. You know, cancer is a disease that, you know, affects people, you know, for a very long time, and so there still is a battle. But seeing him in remission, seeing him be healthy and be out there with his dad was an amazing experience. You know, truly something special that him and his family will be able to remember for a long time. I've gotten to know Josh and his family very well. We live in the same neighborhood here in Jacksonville. Our kids go to school together. And so being able to...
Public school, private school?
They go to private school.
I'm just asking.
They go to private school together. But being able to meet his family, get to know them throughout this year has been amazing. They really welcomed us here to Jacksonville. And this was my first time in the NFL having a teammate that was extremely family oriented, and we got to share those like family experiences with. And it's been awesome. You know, life
makes you a better defensive line too when you understand like the principles and morality that come around your teammates and what they value. It's like it's an easier way to motivate them because you know exactly who they are as an individual and a person. But even last week I saw that all y'all wives went viral for the game.
Yeah, that was another thing. So Josh's wife, Caitlin, and my wife, Mindy, they're very good friends too, and we all hang out together. Like I said, our families are really close, but my wife and his wife got together and they hosted all the defensive wives and girlfriends in our suite on game day, and they really went all out, bro. Like, they planned it. My wife was in here making cups with players' faces on it, and they decorated everything.
Did y'all have those things with your face on it too, with the little?
Yeah. They had the fat heads. They went crazy, bro. They snapped like and then
I saw it on IG. Everybody was talking about it. It was like,
yeah,
the Jaguars wife go crazy. They get rid of the bus. They did this stuff. I was laughing. I was like, I did not expect this to come up on my timeline, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So they did that. It was really cool. They got the whole defensive wives and girlfriends together. They all met at Josh and Caitlin's house. Got a party bus. Went to the game. Me and Josh share a suite. Our family share a suite. So they had all the girls in our suite hanging out Monday night. It was a good time. And
but that's the kind of stuff that you need to win a championship, a low key. Like, you can't have any jealousy. You can't have any fragments on a team. It's like you got to be like that. Like you got to hang out together. You got to go to people's weddings. You got to just be involved, you know.
Sure.
A lot of people think that they could just win. And then the way that society is made now, like you look at some, like especially the players that's coming in now, they come off NILs. They got money. They got everything that they already need. Like what's even the point for the NFL other than building a fan base, you know what I'm saying? And most people don't even care about really winning. They like, I need to get my check, you know. I need to get my money, you know what I'm saying? They're not really in it like for the legacy play. So it's like, you know, this time is how do you even bring in young players and have them understand the ropes? They like, I make more money than you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but you haven't done much, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know,
I think it's just making everyone feel welcome, you know, making everyone feel welcome.
But also the rookies got to stay in their place too. Like for me personally, I don't like seeing rookies being captains, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when a rookie's a captain, it says a lot about the organization and the veteran leadership. It's like you basically have placed this person as a leader. You know, like look at the Tennessee Titans. Like Cam Ward's first year, like he's the captain of the team. You know, talking in press conferences, doing everything that that it would take 5 years to get to. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a good player and have the opportunity to talk, but I think it's important in the NFL to kind of understand the principles and just like the leadership roles and what other guys have experienced through their time in the NFL and allow the leadership to come through play, allow the leadership to come through games, allow the leadership to come through trials and tribulations where you come out on top because you had some type of great leadership in moments where the team was lost. I think too early, they crown people way too early and give them the keys to the car when they barely know how to walk.
Yeah,
they barely know how to walk, and it's like
I think the only rookie captains I've seen have been quarterbacks, and that's kind of like a, you know, like he's our starting. Like if the starting quarterback is not a captain, it's like like what we doing? I think it's just kind of like like he's our starting quarterback, you know.
I think you shouldn't do that. You should, because at the turn of the team, like when shit go bad, people are going to look to the vets who have actually experienced something, who's actually won. Like, how's a guy going to be a captain on the team when he has 0 wins, 0 NFL experience, 0 moments where he couldn't even lead us? Like, where's the bathroom? Oh, it's my first time in the building. So where do we park it? I just got here. Who's the chef? What's the referee? Nobody knows the person, and they leader of the team. I think that says a lot about a team that sometimes you can't do that. You have to go with the guys who put in the work, because the real men, they're going to look at the real men. They're going to say, oh, that's Arik Armstead. He done been to the Super Bowl a couple of times. He done played in real games that really been meaningful. I'm going to trust him. I know that he's going to say what's right. I can't really trust a rookie to do that. I think when you do that as an organization, it just shows you can't always make the quarterback the captain, because sometimes it's not the quarterback. Sometimes it's the left tackle. The left tackle is the guy that everybody's looking at. People are looking at Trent Williams. Trent, where do we go? We going down. We run to my side. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's what they want. It's like, other than that, sometimes I just think with that becomes a real fragment in how organizations are run, because they think because somebody's had the first pick, because they make the conversation, because they got all the fan base, they should be given leadership. Leadership has to be earned. It has to be through trials and tribulation. It has to be through the fire. It has to be through injury. It has to be through terrible moments. It has to be through and through. Like Trevor Lawrence earned it to me. He done been on the team long enough to where he's been an okay player to moments where he couldn't succeed, and to now he's making those critical plays. That's leadership. Now he's making those throws in the corner. He's doing it. To me, that's what leadership is. It just can't be given, you know? So I don't know. To me, that's the NFL's nepotism, and that's a problem in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that leadership, you definitely got to go through some ups and downs, some adversities. But also, I feel like you can be a leader on a team without being a captain.
True.
I'm not a captain, but I know that I can still lead my team in ways and help people in ways. And I know that a lot of people look up to me and are looking for me for guidance, even without, having that C on my chest. But yeah, I feel that it's definitely when you talk about building teams and culture and leadership and all that, it's very important to, choose wisely for sure.
Looking ahead to next week, I feel like this you guys have had. If this was college football, strength of schedule would be crazy for y'all. I mean, the
Yeah.
49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Seattle Seahawks, then coming back to play on a short week in London, which your owner is from London. I won't say your owner, but the guy who owns your team, he's big in London. And now y'all got the Rams, which right now the Rams are firing on all cylinders. It's like every single week you guys are coming to face a new challenge, a new great quarterback. I mean, it's really interesting. The run game, the strength of team. Their defensive line last week played tremendous against the Ravens, which, I mean, I don't know if it's tremendous because you don't have Lamar Jackson in the game. Lamar Jackson is arguably the best athlete and one of the best athletes in NFL history. And either they don't have him, Derrick Henry's getting stopped a lot. So it's like, but the Rams still are a really, really great team when you look at Matt Stafford and the weapons that he had, Puka Nacua, the Devontae Adams, the running back, the defense is stacked. So this is going to be another challenge for you guys. A very stout team. I think you guys are running into a team that's kind of built similar to how you guys are built. And those are always the most challenging games when a team's built very similar. I think it's like when we used to play against the Carolina Panthers or we play against the 49ers, those are always tough games because they were built the same type of way. Stout defensive line, great quarterbacks and a really good run game. So it's like, I think it's going to be a really challenge. How are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, great team, great opportunity. This is a big game for us. You definitely want to be feeling good heading into a bye week to, finish off the long stretch of the season. So it's a big game for us, opportunity to go over to a new country and play against an excellent team. I got a lot of experience playing against the Rams and McVay and Stafford, being in that division. And there'll be a lot of crossover, too, between our staffs. Liam was with McVay in L.A., and so there are going to be a lot of similarities between, the offenses and the mindset and the schemes. And so it's going to be a huge challenge. But it's going to be a very fun game, I feel like. Anytime you get to play in these type of matchups, out the country, in London, it's going to be a new experience, games that, like, you're going to remember in your career. And we're excited for it.
Really? I feel like the London game to me. I feel like the London game to me is like one of the hardest games to go to, just because it's not so much about the game. It's like all the things that come with going to London. It's like all the extra preparation. Like I remember when I played with the Eagles, like we landed in London, but we couldn't go to sleep because they wanted to practice right after we got there because they wanted to keep us on the same time zone. It's like the grass is soccer grass, so it's slippery as hell out there. And then it's like you playing at a weird time. It's like 6 a.m. back in the States, and it's like it's just a lot of like variables that people don't really get to see. And then people think that you're in London running around, but then they don't really have you in London. You in the outskirts on the countryside, so you're not really in London. It's like you there, but you're not really there. I think it's like, to me, that's one of the more challenging games of all the games, because especially if you're there for the week, if you're there from the Thursday, because some teams go on Thursdays, and I imagine that the Rams probably leaving straight from Baltimore to the over there because
that's what I heard. I heard they're leaving straight from Baltimore, or I think they're staying in Baltimore for the night or something, and then headed out either today to London or something like that. That's what I heard they're doing, and our schedule's changing a little bit too. We're leaving Monday night, and tonight, which we're shooting the show, we're leaving Monday. But for me and my London experience, I prefer to leave and be there all week.
Me too.
It gives you time to get adjusted. Last year we went and we left Thursday, got there Friday, and it was a quick turnaround to just, physically get on that time schedule and like get some rest. And so I'm happy and I'm excited we're leaving. tonight, Monday night, and we're gonna get out there, be able to get adjusted, try to get on some type of rhythm and schedule, get our bodies back right, get our sleep and schedule and recovery right, to be able to go out there and do what we need to do on Sunday. But I enjoy playing out there. I feel that it's a unique experience, unique opportunity to play out the country and moments like this and memories in your career and doing having unique special games like this. I feel like it's fun. I feel like it breaks up the monotony of the season, and it's going to be cool. My family's going to be out there. I love having that experience with them as well too. Them being able to see me play in another country, which is rare and doesn't happen all that often. So I'm really excited for it, and I can't wait to get out there. You're talking about the gauntlet that we're playing against. I feel that this 4-game stretch that we've been kind of going through. We got one more before the bye. I feel this stretch is preparing us for something. I feel that it's preparing us for the rest of the season. And not just the caliber of teams that we're playing against, but the different styles of teams, the different styles of quarterbacks and offenses and defenses that we're seeing in this stretch. I feel like it's going to prepare us really for everything. It's going to, the thing about the NFL is like, once you see it all, it's like, all right, there's only so much teams can do. We played against this style of offense. We played against this style of defense. Like, after a while, there's only so much teams can do. And then it's really about just executing at a high level. Once you've seen all the looks, it's boils down to, playing with effort and energy each and every week. And because the looks and the offenses and the defenses, the schemes are all going to be repetitive at this point. So although this is a gauntlet stretch of games for us, I feel like it's very good for our team. It's going to prepare us for the rest of the season. And our goal is to, be 5-2, head into the bye week, and then, finish out the last stretch of the season. So I'm excited about the opportunity to play over there.
I hate the grass though in London. I'm just not.
The grass is mad slippery, and I heard it's supposed to rain.
Out there, you got to get your feet in the grass. It's just bro, I
remember last year, my first pass rush, I jab swipe, beat the dude's hands clean and just slipped like right in front of the quarterback. I'm like, dang. So, but I still prefer slippery grass over turf though.
Oh yeah, I agree. No, I don't. I like turf over slippery grass. So you can't get the grass in London just don't make sense. It's just like, unless you play in the other stadium. Which stadium are you guys playing?
We're playing in Wembley.
Yeah, see, that's even more slippery.
Yeah, so last year we played in Tottenham, which is turf, and then we played in Wembley, which is grass, the more historic stadium. But I just prefer grass regardless. Like, it don't matter. I just prefer grass over turf, no matter how the grass is looking. So the league is changing a lot. The game is expanding international. There's games all over the country, and the league has changed a lot. From you retired, not too long ago, but the game has changed a lot. Even from
a long time ago, you can change. Your whole body can change in 5 years. You can go be from muscular to being obese in 5 years. Actually, you can be obese in like 6 months if you try hard.
It's been 5 years, bro. I feel like it's been like 2 or 3.
Nah, it's going on almost 6 now. 5 or 6 now.
Five or 6. Well,
I was in Germany. I was in Germany this summer with the NFL and the Seahawks, and I enjoyed Germany. I was in Dusseldorf doing the NFL stuff. They asked me to go help them with, being an ambassador for the game, and it was crazy. I really like Germany. I think one place I probably want to play a game in, if I had a choice, I probably would do like maybe Lisbon or even like South Africa. I think Africa would be dope to have the first game ever in Nigeria, or like because it's like so many players are from Nigeria right now, so it'd be kind of dope if there was actually an NFL game in Nigeria. They play one in Brazil, so why not do one in Nigeria or South Africa? Would be crazy to have one in. They already got those big
Johannesburg.
stadiums. Yeah, like play a game there. I think the first game in Africa, that would be one of the things that would be kind of dope, considering 99% of the league is black. So it's like but. Yeah, I really like Portugal. I thought Lisbon would be a really beautiful place to play a game in. The weather is beautiful. The way
I
that the
haven't been.
city
I
is
haven't
laid
been
out.
there. I haven't been to Lisbon, but I heard it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful country.
When I played for the Philly, they let you stay. If you wanted to stay in London, you could
Oh,
after the
for real?
game. Yeah.
Did
We
you
had
end up Did you end up staying?
I went to Morocco. Yeah, I stayed and went to Morocco.
Oh, you went to Morocco. I've been to Morocco before too.
Yeah. Morocco's a vibe. What, you was
Yeah,
in Marrakesh or you was in Rabat?
yeah. I was in Marrakesh.
Yeah, Marrakesh. Yeah.
Yeah, stayed close to.
I like Casablanca though.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Casablanca too. If I was with the wife, we probably would have moved around a little bit, but I had the whole family with me, so we had to like pick just one. It's kind of hard to like bounce around when you got kids and stuff.
Where'd y'all stay at?
But we stayed at dang, I forgot the name of it, but there was a Netflix show about
Oh, the
the
Royal
girl.
Monsieur?
I forgot the name of it, but there was a Netflix show about the girl,
Yeah,
the
that's the
the
Royal Monsieur.
the
King.
the girl who was like finessing everyone, catfishing, and like acting like
Oh
she
yeah,
was like a rich heiress or whatever.
no,
That
you
we
talking about
stayed
the
at that
Royal Monsieur?
hotel, the
Yeah, that
Royal
was cool.
Masur.
That's the King's Hotel.
Yeah. We
It's his
stayed.
personal hotel. You stayed at the King's Hotel, boy. You fancy, boy. That boy fancy, boy.
I like to travel for
No,
sure,
you
and,
got. I feel, especially when you travel, you want to make sure this, good for the family and stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, I think a
yeah.
game of Morocco would be kind of fire too, because Morocco has that new stadium being built. Having a game there, kind of, just get into having something on the African continent would be nice
Yeah,
to be able to have one game. But like, yeah, so
it was cool. Morocco was cool. Um, it's so crazy how big, obviously the continent of Africa is, but I feel like North Africa, feels a little bit more like the Middle East, especially Morocco did. There's,
yeah,
big Arabic population there. It's just so crazy, like how as you move through Africa, like the different
yeah.
countries and the different cultures, and it's like there's so many different types of people and cultures and there. And I think having a game there would be dope. Like having the first
Well,
NFL game in Africa would be
you got Roger
fire.
Goodell. You got Roger Goodell number. Text him.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna text them. We do need to do that. We need to
Yeah,
have a
let me
game in
text him.
Africa. I,
He,
I want to see. I want to see like the thought process between like the certain markets they're trying to tap into. Like what's the draw to certain markets? Like, is it already like sports culture? Is it like are we trying to attach to like soccer? Like where there already is a big soccer presence. But that would be an interesting conversation of how we can get a game in Africa.
Speaking of these long trips to Africa and traveling across the world, like I always see GQ's like top 10 essentials for where people kind of travel. But I don't want your top 10. But like, what's your 5 like kind of must-haves on a trip like this? Because I mean, you had a couple games across the country, but most of the games are under 3 hours of flight time. So
Yeah.
this is what it's going to be like closer to 7. And like, this is going to be like, do they even have y'all in first class? Because some teams don't have guys in first class.
We have a different type of plane. It has like a lot of like the lay down seats, kind of not like the full like bed joints, but like good recline, legs
Yeah.
pop up. We got a lot of those seats on this plane. I don't even know what type of like the design of the plane, but we got a lot of those. So it's not necessarily first class, but we got some good seats on our plane. It's the plane we use for all games and all travel. But for me, on a long flight like this flight, I'm gonna be knocked out, bro. I'm not gonna lie, because we leave tonight. We get there around like 8 in the morning, and then that's our off day. So like, if you don't sleep on this plane, bro, you're gonna be messed up. Like, it's gonna take you a couple of days to like bounce back. So for me, I'm gonna try to like be knocked out as soon as we get on the plane. And you would think like, oh, like if I sleep the whole plane, like I'm gonna be good. But the flight's really only like 7 hours. It's not that far. 7 hours is a solid night of sleep. But if you stay up a little bit, try to watch something, now it's like 5 hours, and then you're gonna be there, and it's gonna be like, dang, bro, I only got 5 hours, and it's already the next morning. It's gonna be a little tough. So I'm gonna try to get knocked out. But I got some in terms of essentials for long flights. You definitely gotta have. I gotta have my headphones. I gotta have in terms of snacks. I gotta have the Flips white chocolate pretzels. I gotta have some of them. And then what they be giving out, I be killing the grapes. Like they give us, they got food and different snacks and stuff. I don't know why I always kill the grapes. Like I get like
You have
3
to make
cups.
rookies get the food.
Yeah, we make rookies get food too. So like we'll make the rookies will bring whatever for the position group on the plane. So a lot of guys like wings, so our rookies get us wings. So we'll probably have that.
I had Patrick Kearney as a vet, and he give you the most
Patrick Kearney. Wow, I remember Patrick Kearney.
Indiana Jones type crusade. He was like, go find the chocolate donut in Street 5. And you like looking at the time, you like, bro, like, how am I going to go?
He's sending you
to get there and back. Like, so our coaches should let the rookies go a little bit earlier so that they don't be late. But I think it's about putting that crunch time in and getting back. Some people pack their own bags, and some people allow their wives to pack their bags. Which one do you do?
I pack my own bag. I try to eliminate tasks for my wife, to be honest. Like, she already got enough between work and the kids and everything around the house, and shoot.
So you one of those good husbands that want to make it hard for all the.
I be trying to get some brownie points. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to add more stuff on the list for her to do just because.
Brownies actually mean is brownie is another term for something else. I don't know what point you would be getting. Like you've made life very good.
Yeah, that's my
sure she's not tired. Huh? You just want to make sure she's not tired.
No, that's my job, and I don't want to add more stuff on the plate because I do realize how hard it is to work and run a household and the kids, and shoot, I be home sometimes like, dang, man, this can be exhausting, on the days you got to be home all day. So I try not to put, if I can take care of it, I try not to add it to her task. And then also too, for me, it's like, I like to put my stuff together so I know what I have, and I can see it, and I'm packing right now, getting ready to leave tonight, and but yeah, so I don't let her do that. Try to take some stuff off her list, so I can get some points, and not have her too stressed and have to think about too much.
Speaking of getting points, we can't leave the show without talking about the points that, not even the points that Jackson Dart and Scatterboo is doing right now. It's more about the aura that they bring in to the league and to that team. It's like, before you're watching the Giants and you're like, okay, let me take a quick nap. I'll wake up and I'll get to the second quarter. Maybe I'll get some coffee and, maybe I'll call Crumble Cookies and give me a chocolate chip cookie, catch Russell after this. But all of a sudden, it's like the energy of the Giants have just shifted in one moment. And I don't know. I feel like the Scatterboo kid is like one of those guys who, like, you wouldn't pick him off of pure talent. You wouldn't say, like, you watch him run the combine, you see him and you compare him to another running back, you put him next to Saquon or any other back in the league, you'd be like, not that guy. I'd take that guy. But you can never judge like the heart. And I think what you're seeing from that kid is the heart. Because I feel like, one of the things I feel like
where you think he's from? Where you think he's from, Mike?
I don't know where he's from. I don't know. He look like he's from Germany or some Russia or some shit.
He from Sacramento, California. That's where he's from. That's why he got heart.
Y'all making some monsters over there because at the end of the day,
we are. That's what we do.
Scatterboo, like boys don't want to tackle him. I think he bringing back that old school football where like now the running backs run out of bounds and stuff, and they don't everybody didn't get the Marshawn Lynch's and the Adrian Petersons and the Brandon Jacobs and the Ma Brashaws and all those running backs that used to bring that heat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. So now Scatterboo is looking like the out of bounds is right there, and there's a human right there. He's like going for the human, you know what I'm saying? And guys aren't used to seeing a guy picking contact, like if he didn't have to wear a helmet, I don't think he would.
Hey, y'all had speaking of that, side note, y'all had a back like that too. That wasn't Marshawn. Thomas Rawls. He used to search out contact. Oh my gosh.
Well, talk about how Thomas Rawls and Scatterboo remind you of each other.
Man, for real. Thomas Rawls, I remember playing a game versus y'all, bro. I think it had to been like either 2016. I think Thomas Rawls had like 230 or something on us, but like he was doing it so disrespectful. Like he wasn't just trying to get yards. He was actually trying to like hurt people out there. Like he'd be on the sideline. Running backs nowadays, they get a 15-yard carry. They just go out of bounds and celebrate, turn up. This man get 15 yards, look, see a DB, like, nah, I'm not running out of bounds. I'm trying to hit you. Turn back in just for contact. I'm running to the ball like, dang, bro, what is you on?
But that's how you watch a Scatterboo. It's like there's some plays against the Eagles. Like the Eagles are the defending champions of the National Football League. They've had a really good defense under Vic Fangio and that's just overall defensive line. Just the linebackers last year, they had a tremendous team, very physical. But I don't know. The other day, watching Scatterboo out there physically, just looking like he was born, 10 days after birth, like he was supposed to be born on July 10th and he was born on the 20th. Like he stayed in the womb a little bit longer, got a little bit more nutrients, and he then came out like looking for contact. And like it's really energizing to see like that guy come in and play the way that he's playing, because sometimes you watch the Giants, they've had good players, but they haven't seen a guy like that. Like I've been on a team with a bunch of guys like that like they do everything to win. Like, and then you get to a team where it's like, some guys do some stuff to win sometimes, but 98 yards, 3 tugs, and then you look at Jackson Darby's doing the same thing. There's like an energy that they're kind of shifting and type of mindset that they're kind of getting to the team. I think that's a very interesting.
Yeah, no, they're young and hungry. And speaking about Scatterboo specifically, like I know where he's from in Sacramento, and it's a hard area to grow up. And just hearing about his story and seeing the different trials and tribulations that he's had, like, and seeing how his work ethic and his mentality has got him over all of that, starting off like he was not recruited at all. I think he went to JUCO, then he went to Sac State, then he transferred from Sac State. They said he wasn't going to be good there. Then he went to Arizona State, was a Heisman candidate there. Same thing, same question marks entering the NFL. Like, is he, let's be honest, like in terms of there's always question marks about white running backs. Like, and some
true.
Yeah, like there's always question marks about like can white running backs like do it. And I talked to like Christian McCaffrey as well too, like about this a little bit. It's like he was always a little underrated just because, being a white running back. But and
So every
people
once in
like
a while, they got to face a little bit of that, huh? They face a little bit of that.
yeah, and like it really puts a chip on the shoulder. Like I'm not gonna hold you. Like being a white running back in the NFL, even if like they've had a lot of success, like it puts a chip on the shoulder because people be kind of doubting them, bro. Like there are always question marks about this and that until they go out there and really pop off. So just hearing about his story and his resiliency and truly knowing where he's from, um, man, it's obviously surprising and shocking to see him dominating at this level, but at the same time, it's not, knowing his mentality and knowing that he's done it at every place he's been at. And I had a chance to meet him too. We was Super Bowl in New Orleans. I had a chance to meet him. They taught me that's not how you say it. I had a chance to meet him at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. I was at the Fanatics party, and someone like tapped me on my shoulder, and I turned around, and it was Scatterboo. I'm like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" I knew he's from SAC because I had seen him, dominate Arizona State, and heard about him, knew he was from SAC and all that, and I got a chance to meet him there, and I was like, "Dang, this dude not even in the league yet, and he at the Fanatics party." I was like, "Who you here with?" Like, but he always had a vibe about himself and the way he carried himself, and you see the resiliency, you see the success he's had at every level. So it's good to see that the success that he's having in the league, and being from Sacramento, we take pride in that, and we always like want to put our city on the map and be representative of our city, and he's doing that at a high level right now, and the city's proud of him.
Do you think that this duo, him and Jackson Dart, could really change this organization around? Because it was Daniel Jones and Saquon that one year that kind of changed the team around. They got to the playoffs, a very good organization with those two guys. But since then, it's been pretty horrible to watch the Giants play football in the NFL. Um,
Well,
now,
if one thing's for sure, they're going to be exciting, and they're going to bring energy, and that's a big part of winning football games is the energy you bring, and the chemistry that you bring, and the confidence that you bring. So they got that down, and hopefully
they,
that can
they definitely
permeate.
got that down.
Hopefully
And
that
they
can
also like a hungry
permeate
team.
throughout their team.
They're a hungry team too. So you can see that at least those two guys are really kind of fueling and like, you know, it's so much about putting this team and representing it. You can see it. It has that New York energy to it right now. And Jackson Dart, I don't know who did his diamonds, but his diamonds are shining hard. He got VVS ones all through his neck on his chain out there for sure. Um,
Yeah, no, they got some swag too. So that's cool to see. So the Chiefs and Lions game last night ended in a scuffle or brawl or fight or whatever you want to call it in your terms. Obviously, it was a huge deal. Players sprawling all onto the field. Um, Things got chippy. Juju Smith left the game with a bloody nose. Brian Branch started the fight with Juju. You never know what really was said, between the lines or even after the game. People be saying some wild stuff. So you don't know how the fight necessarily started, but we saw what the aftermath was. And, this isn't the first NFL fight. This isn't the first brawl or professional sports fight. But my question to you, Mike, is we live in a country that loves violence, loves combat sports, loves to
Not
pay,
America.
huh?
Not America. We don't love violence in America. What are you talking about? We've never done anything violent in our whole existence. We actually love peace. Like all we do is talk about peace every day.
That's what some people want to believe, or the image that wants to be portrayed. But at the end of the day, Americans, we do love violence. We do love
We do.
physical altercations. We do love combat sports. We love seeing violence on display between people. And we know that because it sells tickets. Even a part of our NFL game is the reason it's so popular is the physical violent nature. So we see people fight. Obviously, it's not good for the NFL. They don't want to see fights on national television and all this, but is that true? Or is there a side of that people secretly really enjoy seeing them and enjoy seeing people fight each other, and it really does kind of bring more attention, things to talk about. And when you look at hockey, fighting is a big part of the culture. It's allowed. It's praised. They have guys on the team who are known to be the fighters. And if there's a fight that happens, that guy's coming out to be the enforcer. If something is not done, or if someone is doing something that, a team doesn't like, they bring in the enforcer and he starts a fight, and people love it and they watch it and they enjoy it. So where are you at on this? Like, does everyone secretly love the fights?
Everybody, first of all, Juju shouldn't get mad if another man don't want to shake another man's hand. You can't force a man to shake another man's hand. And then if you're going to stand up for your friend, you can't get punched in the face and get bloodied out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be mad at somebody disrespect, you got to take the first shot. You can't get mad at another player for not wanting to shake another player's hand after he lose. Like, there's no rule that says you has to do that. Like, so I don't know why Juju felt like he had to say something, But, I mean, I bet he'll choose his words carefully next time. Do I think that America loves violence? I think the history of America, it starts with violence. The way that America started was through a violent act. So violence has always been accepted. Anytime there's a disagreement in America, where does it start with? A war. Who has the most owned guns in the world? America. So it's like violence is accepted. It's like we like to see contact. The bigger the hit, the louder the crowd cheers. People get mad at people when they get injuries. Some people clap when a guy gets injured. Like the amount of things that we watch on TV, the games that our kids play. Like violence is just a part of our culture. I don't think it's subconsciously. It's very overtly there. There's nothing deeply rooted that says like, oh, we don't like violence. Like our national sport is a violent game. Concussions are a part of our sports. It's like violence is what people watch in America, whether we like it or not, whether we try to say, hey, we don't like it. Even watching a Marvel movie is very violent. You're watching it with your kids, and it may have some characters that aren't dressed like humans and dressed like these fantasy figures, but at the end of the day, it's violent. And I think whether or not America agrees with it, people like seeing that violence of a sport. We watch UFC, we watch boxing, we watch all these different things, karate, just these things that are but the problem with violence in America, we like to see it as entertainment. We don't like to see it outside of the entertainment. But to me, it's like, I don't know why people watch a violent sport and then when something violent happens, people are very surprised. It's like, I can't believe he punched that guy. I'm like, this guy, they've been choking each other all day. They've been elbowing each other. They've been kicking each other. They've been trying to get a pigskin football on the ground that's full of air and doing everything violent to get it back. Every single play that you line up is a violent interaction. And then that's just in America, that's just how things go. You talk about hockey, like the way that guys fight out there, brutal. Like, do you look at the guys that we respect? Those are the guys who played in a violent era. Most of the guys who play football now could have not played in the 1980s, could have not played in the 1970s, and certainly couldn't have played in the 1960s. So now it's like sports are just violent, and every single day you have to watch contact from different levels. Even women's sports is violent. So at the end of the day, there's only a couple sports that is violent in America. And I would say that America likes violence, and we like to see violent things happen, but we just like to see them as games, but not realizing that even though we consume them as games, the game that we consume is actually reality. And whether we like it or not, that's just the fact of the point. Yes, I think America liked the point to see that violent thing. I think a lot of people who are Lions fans watching is like, well, we didn't win the game, but we surely can win this fight. So I think that's how it goes,
I think so. I think I mean, it's
Sorry,
I don't even think it's just an American thing, bro. I think you could look back at history, like the gladiators, bro. Like in in Rome, and all these different examples of people enjoying seeing that physical violence and it being displayed. Obviously, football is not life or death, but
Well, I think it is. Well, because at any moment you see people, if you get in the axial position, you could be dead or you could be handicapped. There's players that have just, leaned in at 47 instead of 48, and 47 puts you in a position where your neck isn't proper for tackling. So football is very violent. It can be life or death. I think every time I went out there, I just assumed that I could not come back the same. And I was like, okay, that's a choice that I have to make. And I think some people make that choice every week. I mean, like there's issues that now, like my elbow, my neck, my back, those are things that for a championship I was willing to sacrifice, And I think that's kind of what we do as players in our sports. It's like people look at athletes to do the things that normal humans wouldn't do. A normal human wouldn't come back from an ACL within 6 months. They just wouldn't do it. It's nothing smart about it. It's actually pretty dumb. But instead, a player will come back 5 months into ACL surgery to prove that he's still a god on the field, realizing at the end of the day, he's just a mere human. Even Caesar had to have somebody next to him and say, Caesar, you're only a human, Caesar, you're only a human.
So you think the NFL should allow fighting like hockey?
I mean, every play is a fight. I just think that they just think that they have just put the criteria of what they consider a fight. If you line up in the trenches and you go head-on contact, extend somebody, jerk them off, go make a tackle, that's a fight. That's a violent move happening. Traditional way of lining up and throwing a punch might not be there, but all the acts of a fight are happening every single play.
Yeah. No, it's a physical sport, and that's why people love it.
Yeah. I loved it. You could do things on the football field. If you did in society, you would go to jail. You see a guy running and you just clothesline him, bam, you get up and everybody's like, yeah. You like, yeah. You want more violent stuff? Like, how much more violence do you want?
Do you feel like fans like live through the players? Like that's like they're watching us do something that they wish they could do. They wish they could express that type of violence and physicality in their life.
I think some of them do. I think a lot of people love their team, love their sport, love how their player is moving, how they're thinking, how culture kind of moves through the city, how the player represents the city. So I think a lot of times it does come down to people love their teams. They hate when their teams are doing bad. They love when their teams are doing good.
Mike, who's your front runner, early front runner for MVP this year?
I have two front runners for me. I'm going to say this because I feel like, to me, this is the year that Patrick Mahomes has really done everything. I feel like he doesn't have the weapons that he once had. The Tyreek Hills, Travis Kelce's getting a little older. Isaiah's been in and out the game. Kareem Hunt's playing pretty good. The offensive line has been not as good. The defense has just been okay. But, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, to me, this year, 1,500 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, only 2 INTs, and some of the losses didn't come down to him. I mean, against you guys, he drove down the field, gave his team opportunity to win. All they had to do was stop, and the defense didn't come through. There's been several games for the Lions there's several games for the Chiefs like that this year. So I think I would say number one for me is Patrick Mahomes. I think he's just been playing outstanding. The running over linemen, doing whatever it takes every single play. Every single time he's out there, it's like 7-on-7. People are just running through the line. He's just moving around, making the plays. He makes the game super fun. And I would say Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield has got that swag. He's been playing at a super high level, being able to get his team to position and winning tough games in and out. Yesterday against the 49ers, that was a tough opponent. Even though they lost Fred Warner for the season, he was able to make critical plays and critical moments. The week before when they played against the Seahawks, it came down to a couple of last plays, and he was able to make those throws. I think Baker Mayfield is probably one of the most improved players in the NFL. And you can never count out Josh Allen, who's the most exciting player in the NFL. So I think those are probably the three guys that I would say are the top for MVPs at the moment.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to see Baker his career and the ups and downs, and for him to be having that team 5-1 and in the MVP conversation, it's just a testament to who he is and the resiliency that he's displayed. So, I think it's early for sure, but for me, I'm gonna give it to Baker. I'm gonna give it to Baker. I think I'm always gonna vote for someone new. See a new MVP.
Why?
Um, I don't know. I just like it. I just like to see the newness and see a new player reach that height and the story. And I think Baker, if he's able to win, that would be an amazing story to really show like how if you just stay down, put your head down, keep working, figure it out, get in a good situation, what you're capable of. So that would be cool. That would be pretty cool to see. After 6 weeks, who's your defensive player of the year front runner?
That's a tough call. I like Aiden Hutchinson just because he came off injury and he's coming to playing a pretty good season so far.
Could it be a first comeback player of the year and defensive player of the year?
No, I don't think they'll do that. I think because Nick Bonito is just playing out of worldly right now with the way that the whole Broncos defensive line should be the MVP of defense. I mean, at this point, just give a group. It'll be the defensive line for the Broncos as the defensive players of the year, really, because that whole defensive line is just whooping and dominating every single week. They literally, last week, the Broncos had as many sacks as Justin Fields had as completions, and that's you haven't never heard of anything like that before. He had 9 completions and they had 9 sacks, so they were equal. So if you measure that out, it was 0, and it's like at the end of the day, I feel like Nick Bonito, and then also Patrick Surtain. I think he's done another. He's out there playing another great year. I mean, he comes from the great lineage of players from his dad, and just like now he's last year defensive player of the year, and this year I think he's playing really great football again. And also Lloyd from the Jags. I mean, every single week he's out there making plays. Interception return against Kansas City Chiefs before, turnover every week at the linebacker position, making big plays. This guy was a first-round pick, and he's continued to, get better and better. I don't know if it's just a contract year, and that people do it in the contract years, but he's playing out of his mind too.
Hey, that's my front runner for defensive player of the year is my teammate Devin Lloyd. I think when you look at turning the ball over, which is the biggest indicator between wins and losses, he's done that. The plays that he's made have all been game-changing plays and really turned the tide for us between wins and losses in a lot of close games. So Devin Lloyd, after 6 weeks, defensive player of the year for me, and that would be a crazy experience seeing him on that podium. It's a long way away and a lot more work to do, but he's my front runner after 6 weeks for defensive player of the year. We got one in Jacksonville. Looking at today's state of the NFL and the game and line play, offense, defensive lines, our specialty, what are some of the things you feel like have changed throughout the game in your time in these last 5 years?
I mean, to me, the offensive line in the NFL is one of the most regressing positions in the NFL. When you look at the amount of sacks that's being given, the techniques, we don't know any offensive linemen's names anymore. Like, offensive line used to be something where it used to be stout. I think the league has got to a position where offensive line is becoming obsolete, and the way that the game is played through the coaches and the quarterbacks. They try to get linemen not to block very long, and then now it's getting to the moment where defensive lines, a defensive lineman, you can work your position all through the summertime. You can work on your pass rush. You could do all that stuff. And I feel like for the linemen, they don't get an opportunity to work on all those things, and it shows up every week in the NFL. And I think the offensive lines are really regressing right now. And I think when you think about two things in NFL that are regressing. It's the offensive line play and definitely tackling. Tackling is at an all-time just horrible thing to watch sometimes, to see how people are coming up tackling. You're like, these guys are in the NFL not wrapping up, diving at people's legs. Nah, it's just the NFL's tackling. I think Roger Goodell needs to put a memo out and say, like, we need to put a better product as a defense out there because guys cannot tackle. It's like once the guy gets past the offensive line, it becomes about trying to make a play and it just can't. So this week, my truck drivers of the week, the defensive line that continues to amaze me every single week is the Broncos, led by Nick Benito. You know, last week, like I said, they put on a show against the Jets. The quarterback only had 9 completions while they had 9 sacks. They continue to run up the numbers every single week. That defensive line is amazing. The Lions continue to play good football. Even though they lost last week, they still put up good numbers. They continue to play a dominant brand of football, led by Aiden Hutchinson, that long arm that he had against the tight end. I don't know why they put a tight end on him. He just bull rushed him, got a sack fumble against Patrick Mahomes. The Steelers keep playing great football. I moved the Browns out this week only because the Browns haven't really had that win just yet. They're playing pretty good football, but you know, when the defensive line doesn't have a good week, they really can't win. And I continue with the Commanders. I think the Commanders are playing great football every single week, and they didn't get to play last Sunday. They play today, but at the end of the day, the Commanders are dominating up front. Dorrance Armstrong, Von Miller, just that whole just that whole defensive line, that brand of DQ football that he brings everywhere that he goes. And then the Seahawks went crazy on the Jags last week. They were out of the top 5 the week before because they had such a bad game against Tampa Bay. Didn't get any good pressures that week or stop the run. But this week they put on a clinic. 33 total pressures, 16 quarterback hits, 7 sacks. D-Law played a great game. Leonard Williams continues to be, to me, the most dominant defensive tackle in the NFL. And they just played a great game of football. So I think those are my top 5 defensive lines this week.
Appreciate you tapping into another episode of Third and Long. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode of Third and Long next week.